speaker is Lauren Tukhat-Seavey,
Close enough.
class of 2019, Bangor High School.
Can you guys hear me well? Everybody? Okay. So my name is Lauren Tukhat-Seavey. I'm a junior at Bangor High School. And when I was asked to speak today, I knew right away that it was something I needed to do. The past few years, especially in recent months, I have had to sit back and read article after article, watch news report after news report, all about the same thing, gun violence in schools. As a student, it pains me to see events like those at Parkland, and I know that now is the time for me to use my voice for the better. The students and adults who have lost their lives to gun violence should be more than a statistic. They're the kids who took dance classes, played the cello, were star basketball player, or the teacher who had a family at home, yet still risked their life so that their students' children could go home to their family. After Parkland, multiple times I found myself sitting in class, staring at the students around me, those students that I call my best friends. My mind starts to wander to what would happen in the case of a school shooting. Which of my friends would end up being killed? Which of my friends would step up to protect those around them? One day, the conversation of what we would do in the case of a school shooting came up. One person said, if someone were to come into the school, I would take a chair and break the glass and jump out the window. Another kid said, I would play dead. No one wants to waste their bullets on someone who's already dead. Conversations kept going. We all realized that we actually didn't know the proper thing to do if a shooting were to occur. Our school has implemented the annual lockdown drills, an occasional fire drill, but never an active shooter drill. I can faintly remember a lockdown drill from 2nd grade. Our teacher had all the students crammed together in a corner, away from the door and the windows. As a bunch of impatient 2nd graders, we didn't take it seriously. Kids were talking, pointing at each other, laughing at the one kid making fart noises in the corner. Flash forward to 5th grade. During our lockdown, the teacher had us hide in like a separate cubby area in the classroom, again, away from doors and windows. Kids, again, were laughing, joking around, and not taking the lockdown seriously. And now, in my junior year of high school, I try to reflect on recent lockdown drills. I remember how we all just were joking around still, not taking it seriously, scrolling through our phones, and using it as an opportunity to miss class time. With times changing, so should our practices on safety. We need to have active shooter drills in our schools, assemblies on school safety, and systems that are set up to ensure the absolute safety of all staff, teachers, and students at our schools. Events like those in Sandy Hook and Parkland need to be taken seriously. Schools and peoples need to learn the reality that this is never going to happen to us. No one would want to do that to our school. And step up to make sure that in case something were to happen, everyone would be safe. School shootings and gun violence have caused mass paranoia and fear in our communities. Students worry that when they get in their car and leave for school, they might not come back. Parents worry that when they hug their children goodbye, they might not ever get to do that again. The other day, the mom of one of my best friends contacted me freaking out because her son was not answering his phone or his text, and neither was his friend. They were at the school and were already supposed to be home. She did not know what was going on, and a fear swept over her, although her son was okay. She didn't know if something bad had happened to him or not. Our family should not live in fear. I should not have to make sure my phone is fully charged every day before school, not because I wanted to check social media, but so I can contact my family in case anything happens. When I stay home from school and I wake up to a text from my sister, a senior at Bangor High, I shouldn't be thinking that they're the last text I might get from her or that something bad is going on at school. I, as well as everyone else, should be able to feel safe, and if you feel the same way, it's time to speak up. I took one step further to making a change by agreeing to speak here today. I am passionate about making sure not one more life is lost to gun violence. Each of you here today at the March for Our Lives values life and knows change needs to happen. Contact your local officials and demand change. Each and every one of you here has a voice, and if you all speak up and do something, you will make an impact. Don't be afraid to speak your mind. Don't listen to the people who tell you you are too young to care or have a correct opinion on the issue. When people brought guns into our schools, it became our problem. There's no age limit on your opinion when it becomes correct. Adam Lanza, the Sandy Hook shooter, was 20 years old. Nicholas Cruz, the Parkland shooter, was 19. If you're old enough to own a gun, you're old enough to voice your opinion against gun violence. We, as young people, have been directly impacted by school shootings. Young people protesting is not a new subject. In the 60s, there was an age of young protest, and along with those protests came opposition from adults and other people. But that opposition should be the fuel to make you fight on. If you are 18 or turning 18, register to vote. Every vote counts. To vote. Go out and volunteer. You have the right to vote and you've been given the opportunity to vote, so go do it. Feel the power flow through your body as you go into the ballot box to be a voice of many making an impact. Be the voice for those too afraid to use their own. Be the person who educates, not argues. There is no more time for hesitation. It's time to stop sitting back and watching events unfold on the news, and it's time to stand up and create events like March for Our Lives, where we all work for the common goal of making schools a safer place for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. The next speaker is Mary Harlan. She's a retired state of Maine school teacher.
My name is Mary Harlan. I'm a retired teacher from the Farmingdale, Maine public school system. I stand today with all of you in memory of the students in Parkland, Florida, and of all the people killed by poorly regulated guns in our society. I am alarmed at the suggestion by the current administration that teachers should be armed. It is absurd to think that armed teachers will lead to safer classrooms. I believe it will only lead to fearful students who will not be able to learn to their greatest capacity in such a climate. Also, I believe arming teachers would lead to an escalation of shootings, just as the proliferation and availability of guns in society in general has led to an increase in shooting incidents. But of utmost importance is what arming teachers would do to the emotional life of students who attend classes that in all essence have become a war zone. And why does this situation exist? I believe it is because the NRA, the Congress, the manufacturers of guns, the gun shop owners, and those who possess guns have created such a war zone and are unwilling to take responsibility for the deathly situation they have created. It is unacceptable that teachers are being considered to be a part of increasing the use of guns. Teachers should not be equipped with guns. I stand with the Arm Me With movement that says teachers should be armed with adequate supplies and staff. Teachers should be armed with resources to deal with mental health issues. Teachers should have smaller class sizes, which have been proven to result in a more healthy educational environment. I stand with the teacher who said, "The day I am asked to take a gun into a classroom is the day I quit my job. I don't want to carry a gun. I want control over guns. For myself, I want students to be able to learn to the best of their ability in a safe classroom environment." Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Our next speaker is Amora Khan. He's from the Penobscot County Young Dems student group.
you all hear me? Yeah. All right. So I'm Timur Khan. I'm with the Penobscot Young Dems, and I want to thank Josie, Karen, and Sam for a wonderful event right now. It's going very, very well. Thank you so much for all the work you do. I also want to give a big shout out to my staff. I have Lakota here, Dylan and Courtney. They're all registering voters, getting pledge cards, and signing up volunteers. So please meet them once we're done with this. It's going to be a great, great year for us. So I don't know if you heard a lot of noise lately, have you? It's a lot of noise. It's too much. And I say it's enough. I have too many people calling me with so many issues. And our legislators, our government officials are not listening. I think it's time for them to listen. What do you think? As a representative from right here in Bangor, right here from Bangor High School as well, I'm an alum, I want us to stand with the kids, stand with our children, stand with them in solidarity. Enough is enough. It's time that we stand together. I want you all to know that I believe in you, and you are all the future right now. I represent Penobscot Young Dems, and I always believe in the fact that the youth will always rise, and the youth will always win. Much love.
The next speaker is Zoe Ellingwood, class of 2019, Hampton Academy.
Is that good? Is that loud enough? Good morning. My name is Zoe Ellingwood. I'm a junior at Hampton Academy. Before I start off, I'd like to note that all the points I'll be talking about are my personal opinions and not associated with the school. So starting off, I was asked to speak about why I am standing up against gun violence in a 3 to 5 minute speech. Well, the full answer to that question couldn't possibly be covered in 3 to 5 minutes, but there's some major points I'd like to discuss. I'm a junior, which means that for the past 12 years, I've been attending school, a place where I can go to learn and grow in what is supposed to be a safe environment. For the most part, that's what my experiences have been. However, most of my school career has come with a sense of fear and uncertainty in the classroom. That fear and uncertainty is why I'm here today. See, I was born and raised not in Hampton, Maine, but in Düsseldorf, Germany. I attended schools that were very similar to any mid-sized city public schools you would see here in the US, with one stark difference. There were no lockdowns in school. There were no lockdowns because there was no need for students to be scared of guns, especially guns in school. There was no need for preparing what could potentially happen if someone entered our school with guns. It seemed impossible to think about now, but we should not need lockdowns in schools. I realized the severity of lockdowns the first day I attended American school, which happened to be a day that they had practiced a lockdown. It was in the 5th grade, and the day started like any other, besides the fact that I was on a different continent with people I didn't know speaking a second language. But that wasn't the scariest part. The scariest part of the day was when I was interrupted trying to learn math by beeping that appeared in the middle of the classroom. We were huddled into a corner. I was in shock. I was confused and lost, and any other emotion that you could describe a small 10-year-old in that situation. I later learned the purpose of this procedure, what it stood for, and why, but I still didn't really fully understand it. Germany has had school shootings, as have many countries in Europe as well. However, the biggest difference between how countries like Germany treat a situation like this and how the USA handles it is that they actually enact change to prevent them from happening again. In 2002, there was a school shooting in Erfurt, Germany, where a 19-year-old took a gun to a school and shot 16 people. This was the first shooting of its kind in the entire country of Germany. As devastating as it was a fundamental part of the weapons laws that Germany has now. The USA Library of Congress defines the German gun control system as one of the most stringent in Europe. But they also have the 4th highest gun ownership in the world. Let me say that again. Germany has some of the strictest gun laws on the planet, but they also have the 4th highest gun ownership rate in the world. This has paid off. There has not been a single school shooting in Germany since 2009. That's been 9 years. I'm not saying that the US should do exactly what Germany and other countries in the area have done, because frankly, that would not be possible. But I am saying that there's something to be learned from this. If we want to protect our students and ensure that students go to school every day without the fear of someone interrupting their math class with gunshots, then we have to do something. This goes beyond just mental health checks, beyond increasing school safety procedures. This goes beyond being nice to classmates or paying attention to those sometimes left out. This is an issue of first realizing that we cannot be divided on the topic of protecting students. Too many people already have lost